Hello and welcome back to another video of Ashraf Talks Football. Yes, the name has been changed for the millionth time. I generally just cannot settle on names. It's very, very difficult to settle on names for me. But uh, yeah, I've changed it to Ashraf Talks Football after some suggestions from Judge Mo and Don Hussain. They didn't really suggest a name. Some of the names they suggested were quite cringe, as cringe as the previous name of the channel. Um, but yeah, I just thought this would probably be a good name to go forward with. But anyways, look, we're here today to discuss the upcoming big game for Arsenal. A game that, for me personally, growing up, was always the most exciting game I looked forward to, and the most nerve-wracking game, depending on where each team is. To be honest, actually, it doesn't really matter. Even if United are crap, like I'm still sometimes like a bit giddy and nervous about these kind of games. But yeah, it's Arsenal versus Man United tomorrow at the Emirates. Um, which, by the way, is not the only time we play them at the Emirates this season. For those who don't know, we have drawn them in the FA Cup at the Emirates. So we're going to be playing them again in 3 weeks, I want to say. 3 or 4 weeks. Honestly, I'm not even sure when the FA Cup starts. I'm going to check it right here. I'm going to check it right here. Arsenal versus Man United. Arsenal versus Man United. Yeah, so that is Jan 11th. So we face them again in Jan 11th. So a bit more than a month. Um, and hopefully we get to slap them up in both games. But look, here we're anyways focusing today on discussing the Premier League match and not the FA Cup game. We'll obviously discuss that as we get closer to the date. But yeah, big game. Big game, I'll say on paper at least, just because of the name of the two teams. Um, I think maybe over the last couple of years, it's kind of lost its hype because when we have been at the top, they have just been horrendous. Or when they were on the top, before that, we were obviously in the gutter. But look, regardless, it's still a difficult game. It's still a difficult game. If you look at the last two seasons, when we played them at the Emirates, they didn't make it easy, even though we were quite far better than them. I would argue in both of the last two seasons. People like to go on this crap. Like, I don't want to delve into it that much, but oh yeah, but they were more successful than you in the last two seasons because they won the League Cup and the FA Cup. Bro, Crimea River. We were a better team than United. It's as simple as that. If we face them in the FA Cup or the League Cup, maybe not the League Cup because managers don't tend to take that very seriously, but if we faced them in the FA Cup in the last two seasons, they wouldn't have made it to the final. 100%. Um, but yeah, look, we were better than them in the last two seasons, and yet they made the game quite difficult for us at the Emirates. Last season, obviously 3-1, but then the third goal came towards the very end when United were trying to get an equalizer. It took us time to score the winning goal. Declan Rice obviously scored in stoppage time, and the season before that was 3-2, again, a late goal by Nketiah to seal the win for us. So no matter what happens, no matter how good we are, they usually tend to give us a difficult game. And they've got a new manager now. They've got a new manager. You could probably say there might be some new manager bounce. Or could there be a new manager bounce? We'll come to that in a bit. Um, and obviously, they just recently smashed Everton. And people will obviously say Everton sucks. They're battling relegation this season. It doesn't really matter because this United over the last two seasons would not have smashed Everton this way. Um, at least definitely not the way they've been going at the start of the season when they had Eric Ten Hag. So 4-0 against Everton is still a very, very good result. If Arsenal win 4-0 against Everton, I'm calling that an incredible result, whether it's at home or away. So we have to give them credit where credit is due, of course. But this game, though, I'm going to say this, guys. Like, while I understand, maybe I shouldn't say we'll slap them up. Sometimes I might just say it for the agenda and the stuff, but I don't think we'll necessarily thrash them or anything like that. I've learned from last season because that's what I said before we went to Old Trafford when they were garbage. And I said we'll slap them up 3 or 4-0, and we only ended up winning 1-0. Because I do think sometimes like the United players might be up for a game like this. Our players are a bit more cautious. However, with that being said, I don't think tomorrow is going to be the same. I think tomorrow is going to be a bit more comfortable, not necessarily a slapping, um, but I do think we'll be like by far the best team on the pitch. Maybe they'll give us trouble here and there. They might even score, to be honest. Like, I'm not even going to rule that out. They've scored in the last two seasons. I have no reason to think that they might not score again this season. Especially when we've conceded against Sporting and against West Ham, and obviously at home against Leicester and Southampton. It's all crazy to think we would concede. Um, so I can see us conceding a goal, but I can also see us scoring three and winning comfortably. And not, I don't mean 3-1 like last season where we score towards the end. I mean where we're like maybe 3-0 up and then they score a consolation goal, or we're winning 2-0, or it's 1-1 and then we end up scoring two more goals and we just easily dominate the game. Um, I've said this, right, before, and I'll tell you guys this, right? And I'm not a biased Arsenal fan. Like, I'm not one of these guys who's like, will praise our players and say, we have this world class player and that world class player, and our manager's one of the best. I'm more than happy to criticize our team and our players when they deserve criticism. And obviously praise them when praise is deserved. Um, but when I look at our team and I look at our starting lineup, when we have our entire starting lineup available, which I'm hoping is going to be the case against United, um, I genuinely don't think any team can come to the Emirates and beat us. Right? Forget beat us. I'm going to take it a step further. I don't think any team can come to the Emirates and get away with even a point. Genuinely, because I think the way our players play right now, the confidence they have, obviously from the last few games, the quality of players we have in different positions, and the fact that everyone in these positions is in form, from David Raya as in goal all the way to the striker and Kai Havertz. Um, Even Martinelli this season is like obviously getting goals and getting assists and obviously being a goal threat. He didn't start against West Ham, fair enough. Probably being rested for this game here. But then the guy who started, Trossard, ended up scoring and assisting. So everyone who's been starting in our team has just been in very good form, right? And when we have our entire starting 11 at home, I just don't think any team in the Premier League can beat us. Even Liverpool, but for a matter, by the way. Even Liverpool, if they played us tomorrow, for example, at the Emirates, their full lineup and our full lineup, I think it obviously won't be comfortable like United, but I think we definitely win that game. We almost beat them at the Emirates just like a month ago or 2 months ago, or a month and a half, maybe something like that. And we had a depleted team. We had Saliba obviously out for suspension. We had Odegaard missing due to injury. We had Calafiori, who's in my opinion a starting left back right now, out injured. And in the game, we ended up losing Gabriel and Timber. And Liverpool's second goal, the equalizing goal, came from that side, from the side of Kivior and Lewis Kelly. It's not like we got Gabriel. Listen to the names. It's not like we got Gabriel and Timber out, and we brought on Calafiori as a left centre back, and then I don't know, like a Timber, maybe. Sorry, not Timber. Maybe like Ben White played left back because we had someone solid, right? We didn't. We literally had him when Liverpool scored the equalizer. Our back four comprised of Thomas Partey as right back, which I agree at the time he should have played there because we didn't have anyone else, and it turned out to be a good decision because he locked up Diaz and even Gakpo when he came on. Ben White as centre back, Gabriel, who was later subbed off for Kivior, and Timber, who was later subbed off for Skelly, Lewis Kelly. And we ended up conceding our second goal from that left side. That game, we dominated Liverpool's midfield, in my opinion. That midfield of Gravenberch and McAllister, and I can't remember who was the third starter. Was it? I think Curtis Jones. Or I can't remember if it was Curtis Jones or someone like. I can't remember. But we dominated that midfield. We were the better team, right? That first half, we should have been like 3-1 up. Moreno missed obviously a chance. And after we scored early, after Saka scored early, the way Arsenal have been without Odegaard, we just sit back and we so-called the pressure, when we probably could have gone and got a second. But yeah, in my opinion, we were the better team that game. And this is why I'm saying if we play Liverpool tomorrow with our full lineup, I generally don't think they can beat us at the Emirates. So if I'm saying that, then that definitely means just by default, I'm not going to give any chance to United, not even for a draw. Look, they're in form, obviously, if you want to call it form based on the last few games, because the game before Everton, they drew to Ipswich. But I mean, in the sense of the last 4 games, I think they drew 1 and won the rest 3, which for United is very, very good form, given how poor they were playing before that. But yeah, I just think we'll have a lot for them. I don't know if there's news about Partey being back or not, but if he is available, then obviously its starting lineup kind of picks itself. It's going to be Raya, Timber as right back, Saliba, Gabriel, and then Calafiori. And then in the mid, it would be obviously this is assuming Gabriel is back. It was only a head knock at the time, so I'm pretty sure he would have recovered by now. Um, and then in the midfield would have Partey, Rice, and Odegaard. I wouldn't start Moreno even if he's fit, because I think Partey has been one of our best midfielder this season so far. Odegaard has been our best midfielder since his return, and Rice, I know he's been up and down. In my opinion, he's over the last 3, 4, 5 games, he's not been bad actually. I think he's been quite good. He's been intercepting, getting the ball, carrying it forward, making good runs. Um, and without a question, like when all these guys are available and in form, I think that's our best midfield. And I think Moreno has to really compete and push to get one of them out. I thought Moreno would like displace Partey eventually, but I didn't think Partey would be playing at this level. So kudos to him. He's obviously performed at a high level. And then the front three would be Saka, Havertz, and the thing is, after the last game, like Trossard is given, obviously, he definitely given Mikel Arteta quite a big headache, because you would think Martinelli, given that he scored against Sporting, given that he's been playing well recently, but I don't know. Trossard, that last game, the goal and the assist, it's quite difficult. Honestly, I wouldn't be fussed whoever he starts, whether he starts Trossard there or Martinelli, because generally I think no matter who starts there on the left, our team is quite strong as it is. And yeah, I think we will get, again, I say comfortable victory. When I say comfortable, I don't mean like 3-4-0. I just mean like we will dominate the game. We will have more possession. We will have the more big chances, better chances, and we'll nullify them to very, very few chances. Maybe not even one, or maybe just one max big chance. And look, it's very important we go on a good run now, because I said it on all the streams and obviously on this channel as well, that if you look at Liverpool's fixtures right now, they've got Newcastle away tomorrow, which I know Newcastle have been quite bad, but against the big teams at St. James Park, I think they can do something. They obviously beat us. They beat Spurs. They drew against City. And they played Chelsea at the Bridge, and they narrowly lost 2-1. So against the big teams, they've performed. And the fact that the game tomorrow is at their ground is obviously a big plus. I just hope Alexander Isak is going to be fit, because he obviously came off injured last game. But if you look at Liverpool's fixtures, and I just look at Newcastle away, Everton away, Fulham at home, which they'll probably win, and then Spurs away. I think they'll drop at least 4 points in those 4 fixtures. Maybe like 2 draws, and then they'll win the other 2 games. And if that happens, and the gap ends up closing to 5, it suddenly swings in our way, in my opinion. I know they will still be ahead of us, but I just think the momentum, the fixtures remaining, I think all that will swing in our favor. But obviously that's reliant on us doing our job, right? If we don't end up winning our next 4 games as well, it's pointless to look at Liverpool's fixtures. And that hopefully continues with United. I was going to say starts with United, but it kind of started with Forest. So that continues with United. It'll put us on a 3-game winning streak this season, which I think is the max we have done so far this season, if we end up beating United. And then we look at the games after that. So yeah, hopefully we get the result. The most important thing right now is to keep our players fit. 100% we need to keep our players fit, and obviously keep them fit for like a run of games. I think that's when we'll be able to get momentum. But yeah, if we end up starting all these players, I'm going to make a prediction right now. I think the game will end either 2-0 or 3-1. If United score a goal, I don't think it'll hang by a thread and we'll end up winning 2-1. I think we'll either win 2-0 comfortably, or they'll probably score first and we'll end up scoring 3 goals and winning the game comfortably. So yeah, I'm gonna go with let me pick one of them. You know what? I'm gonna pick 2-0, because even though I said we'll probably concede, I'm kind of thinking about it now, and against the big teams, forget Liverpool, because obviously we played Liverpool with a depleted team, but when we had our full back 4 available, obviously barring the red cards, we kind of did really well against some of the big teams like Spurs, Villa, But then again, we conceded against Chelsea and we conceded against. Yeah, you know what? Screw it. I'm changing my mind. 3-1 Arsenal. I'm going to say 3-1 Arsenal. Yeah, that's my scoreline. Guys, please don't forget to like and subscribe and share the video. And I'll be doing a lot of these videos from now on before every game. Basically, my pre-thoughts before every game, to give you guys my predictions and how I think the game will go. I feel like I haven't spoken much about United. Maybe I should have, but again, I don't see them getting on anything out of the game. Like Bruno Fernandes has obviously been playing quite well. Rashford got on the scoreline last time. I like Diallo so much. I don't know why Eric Ten Hag was not playing him enough. But obviously Ruben Amorim seems like he's going to be trusting him a bit more. I definitely think Xerxes a big flop, but he's going to be a flop. You guys will see this by the end of the season. But yeah, look, they have very good players. And I said on other channels that I think they can compete for top 4. I'm not sure if they'll get it, but they can definitely challenge for top 4. But even if they challenge for top 4, I don't see them getting it. I think Chelsea will narrowly tip them. But if they end up finishing 5th and close to the top 4 positions, I think that's a very good season, in my opinion, for them. But yeah, look, they have a very good team, but I just think Arsenal at the Emirates is too big of a test too soon for Ruben Amorim. And it'll prove to be so. Anyways, yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I'm going to end it here. Guys, please don't forget to like and subscribe, share the video, and catch you guys on the next one. Peace.